Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat and welcome to another edition of Healthy Davao Media Forum where we discuss mga health-related matters and issues. We are with our friends from the SPMC and also our partners, no? For today, actually we have two batches of guests, no? The second batch will be our RD of OCD, Officer of Civil Defense 11, RD Edna Dayaghirang will be talking after this batch, no? Because they will be celebrating the 2025 National Disaster Resilience Month. I think may event simultaneous dito sa baba, no? About earthquake preparedness. So for our topic 1, we will be discussing tatlong topics for batch 1. We have prostate cancer awareness. We are joined by our from the Department of Urology, SPMC, Dr. Porfirio Serrano, and then the prevention of poisoning in the household awareness. No, we are hapon lang ata si Dr. Ella J. Nogas. She's the consultant of poison treatment and control institute of SPMC. Then we have our National Nutrition Month celebration. We have Ma'am Retsebet Lakihon, OIC Regional Nutrition Program Coordinator of the National Nutrition Council 11. Kasi dati si Ma'am Maria Teresa Unson, but yun dati nasanay kami. And she's joined, of course, we met already, sir, sa Cacao. We have Dr. Antonio Obsioma, the OIC of the City Agriculture's Office. Then we have Ma'am Elizabeth Banzon, the City Nutrition Program Coordinator. Ano ba mga programa ng City and the NNC for the National Nutrition Month, and ano yung updates sa ating nutrition. So to start our press controlling, we'd like to get the opening statement. We'll start with Dr. Serrano.
Hello, good morning. Once again, ako po si Dr. Porfirio Serrano from the Department of Urology, Southern Philippines Medical Center, senior resident na po of the department. So, usually, prostate cancer awareness is celebrated during the month of September. However, gina-celebrate din natin ang Father's Day with the Men's Health Program during June, the month of June. So, may mga health forums din kami na ginasagawa sa Southern Philippines Medical Center during June and month of September. So, prostate cancer, as we all know, prostate is sakit sa mga lalaki lang. So, ito ay kadalasan makikita sa mga lalaki 50 years old and above. And usually, most of our seniors or mga patients does not know or has poor knowledge on prostate cancer. So, hopefully this event would help our viewers and our listeners na mas malaman or mas mabigyan linaw ang mga issues regarding prostate cancer.
Okay, then we have beside Dr. Serrano, we have the OIC of the City Agriculture's Office, Dr. Antonio Obsioma.
Mayong buntag, Tony Obsioma. Masasabi ko lang with the topic this morning, it's about food security and nutrition. So for me, food security is not only about yung food availability, access, utilization, and stability. For me, it also involves responsibility on food safety and environmental sustainability. Thank you.
Retsebet Lakihon.
Okay, good morning everyone. Retsebet Lakihon of National Nutrition Council. I'm the Regional Nutrition Program Coordinator and Officer in charge. By the way, it's July, and every year, every month of July, we celebrate the Nutrition Month. And tomorrow we will be launching the Regional Nutrition Month celebration in the region. Actually, based on the Presidential Decree 491, July was designated as a month to strengthen the campaign on good nutrition. Now, the technical working group at the national level convened to determine the theme for this year. And they came up with the theme, overarching theme, in line with the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition, Sapipan Sama-sama sa Nutrisyong Sapat para sa lahat, na for 2025 to 2028, all the theme will focus on the pillars of our PPAN, or Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition. And for this year, the theme will focus on food security and nutrition security, wherein our sub-theme is food and nutrition security maging priority, sapat na pagkain, karapatan natin. So why focus on this theme? Because we need to give highlights and importance of consumption of healthy diet and ensuring food sustainability, not only by means of ensuring that there's an available food, but also the food should be accessible, as mentioned earlier by Dr. Obshoma, and also ensuring that the food is stable and affordable at the same time. So even we are grounded with legal basis in strengthening food security, but then majority of the individuals, not only in the Philippines but globally, experience this food insecurity. Okay, so aside from that, food security and nutrition security, we're also being focused sa ating SDG number 2 on ending hunger. So aside from that, okay, there's also a need to strengthen the campaign, because if food insecurity is not being addressed, it will lead to malnutrition. Okay, malnutrition is existing in the region, and prolonged malnutrition, of course, will worsen the status of the child. And who are the vulnerable of malnutrition? Who are the vulnerable of food insecurity? It includes the pregnant women, the lactating mothers, the preschool children, even families who are classified as low income. Now, with the celebration of Nutrition Month, we aim that the campaign on good nutrition, particularly ensuring the food security as well as nutrition security, is established. Okay, we need to urge the support of various stakeholders to collaborate and engage in this endeavor. That's why our Nutrition Month celebration is in collaboration with the City Government of Davao, specifically the City Agriculture Office and the City Nutrition Office, City Health Office Nutrition Division, as well as the Department of Health, to ensure that nutrition is a priority concerns that needs to be addressed, particularly on food insecurity. So later, I will also share to you the updates on the nutrition situation in the region, which affects our under 5 children. So that would be all. Thank you.
Ma'am Elizabeth Banzon.
Madayaw Davao, good morning sa tanan, no? Thanks for this opportunity, sir, and to each and everyone. I'm Elizabeth B. Banzon, the Division Chief of the City Health Nutrition Office. I would like to call on for this, that everyone should be a part of our nutrition celebration. So we have the 51st nutrition launching tomorrow. We will be having a motorcade, and it will end at the People's Park for our program in collaboration with National Nutrition Council Region 11, headed by Ma'am Redsebet, and also with the Department of Health. We call for the action to each and every one, and calling for all the families and individuals out there to please prepare and eat nutritious food, balanced meals. With we will be giving a Pinggang Pinoy guide, and as well as we need to start everyone, start a home and a garden, even in our urban setting, no? We will be witnessing tomorrow our City Agri, our very strong partner with Dr. Obshoma, on how to do it, no? Because we would like also to encourage the urban, our communities from the urban setting. And we would like to encourage all the barangays to participate in nutrition program and our activities and wellness activities. And we need to support our local farmers. Always remember that buying fresh and healthy product, foods from our local farmers is very essential, and it will also help us in our body, and reduce food waste by planning meals wisely and storing food properly. So gainganyo mi sa tanan Davaoenos and to all nga naat tanan to participate in all our barangays. Each every barangays will be conducting our advocacy on nutrition, our food and nutrition security. And we always remember it is a very essential that we have this food security, kay kung wala tayo seguridad sa atong pagkaon, the more we will not ever attain a good nutrition. So we are calling for each and everyone, and also to our media partners, to all of you out here, to help us raise awareness to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We'd like to thank SMCT Davao for again hosting our Healthy Davao Media Forum. Our forum is aired, our live stream at the PIA Davao Region Facebook page, and of course, kadangpan, hindi na busy si Carlo, tapos na ang beauty pageant season. Okay, we go to Dr. Serrano before kasi may mga tanong ako sa ating nutrition persons. To Dr. Serrano, parang yung pati ko marinig yung ang prostate cancer, parang common siya na type of cancer. Kaano ba ang prevalence nito sa Davao Region or sa SPMC? How many cases that you handle or detected every month ba yun or every yung anong data niya?
Sige, to start po, regarding the discussion on the prostate cancer, first we should know what is the prostate or what is the prostate gland. Ang prostate gland or ang prostata sa Tagalog usually is a gland organ na makikita sa mga lalaki. Nasa baba lang yan siya ng pantog. So, ano ang purpose ng prostate? The prostate helps in the production of the semen sa mga lalaki. So, usually, prostate will grow or will enlarge due to the presence of the hormone we call testosterone. So, as we all know, sa mga bata, hindi pa masyadong develop yung prostate nila kasi until the time na mag-produce na sila ng puberty na wherein mag-increase na yung production ng testosterone. So, the more time na ma-expose ang prostate sa testosterone, it will enlarge significantly. So, some will do not have symptoms ng prostate enlargement, while others, kahit maliit na yung prostate nila, may symptoms ng prostate enlargement. So, ano ang saan common ang prostate cancer? So, number one, risk factor of having prostate cancer is, number one is the age, no? So, bihira lang makikita ang prostate cancer sa mga bata, no? Less than 40s, bihira lang. Kung meron man, it might be a part of a family or what we call on the genetics. So, may genetic factor yung early onset ng prostate cancer. So, usually, 50 pataas, dyan mag-start, mag-increase ang incidence ng prostate cancer. So, the incidence of prostate cancer, usually 1 out of 8 men is diagnosed with prostate cancer worldwide. So, sa Philippine setting or dito sa Davao, approximately, yun din naman ang prevalence ng prostate cancer. And especially sa SPMC, majority of our screened patients, usually based on our recent census, 50 to 60% ng ginabiopsy namin would turn out to be positive for prostate cancer. So, ganun siya ka-common, especially sa mga elderly men. So, signs and symptoms of prostate cancer. So, number one, signs and symptoms of prostate cancer is brought about by the enlargement of the prostate. So, since the prostate, makikita siya sa may baba or inferior part ng bladder, daanan ng ihi. So, most likely, ang symptoms nila would present as outlet obstruction. Mahirapan mag-ihi, no? Paputol-putol ang pag-ihi. Sometimes ang symptoms sila may halong dugo ang ihi or hematuria in the medical term, mag-ihi ng dugo. Number 2, some of them would present with nocturia. So sa gabi paulit-ulit na nagigising, walang tulog si tatay dahil pabalik-balik sa CR due to the prostate enlargement. So however, these symptoms usually does not present pag maliit pa lang yung prostate or yung prostate cancer. So majority ng mga prostate cancer patients na early onset pa lang will have no symptoms, will have no urinary symptoms. That is why we advocate early screening, no? As early as 45 years old, based sa guidelines, we recommend na magpa-screen na sa urologist or kahit sa mga our doctors na would give you screening. So however, sa mga high-risk population, usually sa mga patients na may family history of prostate cancer, we recommend early screening as early as 40 years old ang screening.
Sir, cases nutrition, we talk the other ating friends no nag-talk about nutrition. Does nutrition play a role sa development ng prostate cancer? May mga dapat bang kainin,
Yes.
kinakain natin naka-influence?
Yes, based sa statistics, majority of the prostate cancer occurs sporadically. However, there are studies that shows that high meat consumption would predispose patient to developing prostate cancer. Not only that, high consumption of meat, it also smoking also plays a role in the development of prostate cancer.
Before we go to sa ating friends, no, may tanong.
May mga sa tanan biyan na bano sa DCR Davao. Sir, tinuod ba na kanang sa may term ani kuwang sa sex possible na magka prostate cancer, sir?
Kulang sa sex. So usually sexual practices, there is no studies no na predispose patients lack of sex. When we call lack of sex kasi it's very vague, very subjective. So patient or males can have ejaculation despite not having sex. Okay? So they can still, some patients will have ejaculation despite having or without sex. So sex does not necessarily mean na mag-increase yung development of prostate cancer. However, ejaculation, lack of ejaculation will, some studies would say that lack of ejaculation or yun nga sa layman's term, ejaculate will predispose patients to have a prostate cancer.
Okay, then we go to Ma'am Elizabeth and also to Ma'am Elizabeth. Kamusta na po yung ating nutrition situation sa Davao City and also sa region, and also ikuha natin si Dr. Tony, no? Ma'am Elizabeth was talking about yung urban gardening. Ano po plano ng Kagro to promote, meron na ba tayong programa sa city to promote urban gardening? Sino mag-una? Siguro Ma'am Elizabeth.
Okay, with regards to the nutrition situation in the region, as mentioned earlier, we have an existing problem on food insecurity that affects individuals in the country. The recent survey conducted by the FNRI, or Food and Nutrition Research Institute, through the National Nutrition Survey in 2023 showed that Filipinos, at 31.1% of Filipinos experience food insecurity or suffers food insecurity, and out of the 31.1%, 2.7% are classified as food insecure households. And not only that, even the Food and Agriculture Organization, they also reported that the food insecurity affects Filipinos. 51 million Filipinos experience moderate and severe food insecurity ranging from 2021 to 2023. That's post-pandemic. And of course, as mentioned earlier, food insecurity, if not being addressed, it will inevitably lead to malnutrition. And talking about malnutrition, okay, we have forms of malnutrition classified as undernutrition, and undernutrition is also classified as stunted, wasted, and underweight. We also have malnutrition in the form of micronutrient deficiencies, wherein one or more of a specific nutrient is lacking. That's why meron tayong tinatawag na iron deficiency anemia or iodine deficiency disorder or vitamin A deficiency. We also have form of malnutrition called overnutrition. So these forms of malnutrition affects individuals, no, particularly our vulnerable group. And based on the recent or our 2024, kasi yung ating 2025 na Operation Timbang result is still ongoing pa siya na kinoconsolidate at binavalidate, no, as generated at the local level. So yun pong latest natin na survey na complete na report was the 2024 data, which was not yet presented, no, sa press con, kasi before when I was invited in press conference 2024, yung na-report ko that time was the 2023 report sa Operation Timbang. For 2024, forms of malnutrition like stunting, wasting, underweight, and overweight are existing that affects our under 5 children or 0 to 59 months old children. And based on the trends in the prevalence of malnutrition, the forms of malnutrition like stunting, ito yung pinaka-critical and chronic among the forms of malnutrition because it will affect the mental and physical development of a child. And based sa ating Operation Timbang, it showed that there's a slight increase in 2024 based sa 2023 natin na data. No, sa 2023 yung ating prevalence rate is only 5.2%, but in 2024 it slightly went up to 5.86%. So ano po yung threshold ng prevalence ng malnutrition sa stunting? It's low to classified po siya as low level based sa WHO cutoff values. But then if we refer or convert that into absolute number or magnitude, we are referring to 28,760 stunted children region-wide. So yung equivalent po na 5.86% prevalence rate is 28,760 stunted children 0 to 59 months old. That's a 2024 data. So ayan po, while yung ating prevalence rate is nasa low level based on percent prevalence rate or percentage rate, but then if we convert that into number, medyo alarming yung ating total number of stunted children. Other forms of malnutrition also includes yung ating wasting or wasted children, wherein meron din tayong slight increase from 2023 to 2024. Sa 2023 po, 0.8% yung ating prevalence rate, and it went down naman to 0.78%. Yung may slight increase tayo yung sa overweight and obesity at 1.4%, it went up to 1.53%. So both undernutrition and overnutrition coexisted in Davao region. For overnutrition, we have a total of 7,705 under 5 children who are classified as overnourished. So yan po yung ating concern ngayon because if we will not address the immediate underlying and basic causes of malnutrition, it will have an irreversible effect to the development of the child. And while we have this campaign sa ating Nutrition Month celebration, we need to strengthen yung ating campaign to ensure na yung mga households ay ma-establish ang food security. How? Of course, no, basic po, yung even yung pagtatanim ng gulay sa bakuran will definitely meet yung initial requirement nila for a certain nutrients. Kaya po, nandito yung ating partner from the City Agriculture Office. And not only that, even the local government units region-wide, we also mobilize them to support the nutrition. And with that, no, yung mga effects ng malnutrition will not only lead to course, no, yung mental and will also affect their physical development, but it will also be detrimental sa ating economic development. It will also be detrimental doon sa literacy, sa education, yung attainment ng educational attainment ng ating mga bata, and it will also affect yung of course yung overall development, yung progress, no, ng ating region. Now, aside from that, we also have this initiative to mobilize the local government units. Kaya po, in-strengthen natin yung ating campaign sa implementation and localization ng ating Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition 2023 to 2028, because the strategies, the efforts, and the blueprint in managing malnutrition in the country is nandyan na po sa ating PPAN. And yun na po yung pwede nating magiging basis for action. And of course, no, pwede po nating i-localize at i-align yung ating mga nutrition efforts sa ating PPAN, because our PPAN does not only highlights yung pag-address ng food insecurity, but it will also address yung level of awareness and level of information on the relevance of nutrition. Kaya meron tayong 4 na pillars sa ating Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition, not only ensuring the achievement of outcome in promoting healthier diets, but also it will contribute to change of positive behavior on healthy lifestyle, good nutrition, and basic of course, no, healthy food choices rather, and a diversified diet. Ayan. And also ensuring that all our vulnerable groups, our target groups, have ease in access of sufficient health and nutrition services. Kasi po yung ating nutrition program is not merely supplementary feeding, it's not merely food production, but it cut across the different programs that will cater the management of malnutrition through addressing yung issues sa water system, yung environmental costs, yung ating poor child caring practices and access to services. So nagka-cut across po yan. And of course, very important po ang support ng ating mga policymakers in ensuring that our nutrition program to our PPAN is institutionalized by formulating the local nutrition action plan integrated in the LGU's annual investment program. And not only up to level of formulating and integrating the plan, but ensuring that there's an adequate investment on nutrition. Kaya po, sa ating campaign on Nutrition Month celebration, naka-highlight yung collaboration, naka-highlight ang engagement with the stakeholders, because in addressing malnutrition, we require a multi-sectoral effort because of the problem on malnutrition is multifactorial. Kaya with this campaign, no, we look forward that everyone across all level will be engaged in taking action, not only sa level ng mga implementers, but we also seek the support of our partners from the media sector to strengthen and disseminate the campaign on good nutrition and other strategies that can lead to the transformation of the nutrition landscape in our region. Yan po. So, thank you.
Okay, Ma'am Elizabeth. Situation po sa Davao City.
Okay, for Davao City, we have embraced the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition in our city, and we have adopted it in our local nutrition. And we strengthen our city nutrition committee as well as our barangay nutrition committee. So nag-reactivate po kami, nag-activate ng mga barangays to help us solve problems within the barangay levels at the ground roots. And we would also like to share that our prevalence rate in stunting is nagbaba siya konti, from 6.4 to 5.6, but the magnitude is very high because it's more than 100, so when there's 2 or more problema na to, at the same time we have the prevalence rate of wasting of 0.6, that's it's just a stable number, slightly increased with our prevalence rate of underweight and severely underweight. So we have our status as to for the stunting and our underweight for areas. What did the area, sir? We have our gamitan sa Lapawan, Magsaysay, Tapak, Salaysay, Pandaitan, Malamba, Paradise, Simbak, Bude, and Dalag. These are GDA areas. But we also have an increase, slightly increase on malnutrition in our urban areas. And we would like to encourage each and everyone to have a healthier diet, practice. We have to change for good, for the better, have good food choices that will help nourish our body. And we also encourage everyone to have improved access on our nutrition-related mga activities, our immunizations, our vaccination, our prenatal, and we would like to promote exclusive breastfeeding for 0 to 6 months. That would give best for our infants, no, the breast milk of our mothers, and to continue it at 2 years or more, and with the proper choices of our complementary feeding. For our pregnant and lactating mothers and to all vulnerable groups like our children, we would like to encourage each and everyone to go at your health centers, no? Open atong health centers na ano po may puro kalusugan. Our staff are going to each and every purok. Please avail our services so that you will be taken care of. And we would like also to invite each and every one, our private sectors, our non-government civil societies to join with us. We have also to thank our academic partners who are helping with us also, with the affiliates. Thank you for that partnership. And for our media partners, hello media partners, karon mag-ingay na ta for our so that our wala dapat mamatay sa hunger and wala dapat malnourished children. We have therapeutic treatments for children, those who are severely acute malnourished, moderately acute malnourished. We have also targeted supplementary feeding sa atong barangay level, at the same time sa ato ang mga partnership, and we would like to encourage everyone in our workplace also. Dili lang kay sa household, dili lang kay sa community, pati sa workplace kung natin containerized gardening. So join us on July 1. So City Agri will be teaching us on how to do it, no? Para dito tananta sama-sama. Because our sub-theme is food security. So, number 1 jud na siya na mag-secure ta sa atong pagkaon so that we have available foods for us to eat it sa ato children and our loved ones. So, that's all. Be partners with us the whole month, July 1 to 31. I will give you all the activities in all our barangays. Pwede kayo mo. Partners, our media partners, thank you sa support as always.
Okay. Okay, based to Dr. Tony, no, ano yung programa, because according to Ma'am Elizabeth and Ma'am Elizabeth, no, yung ginapkuan nila, they mentioned container and urban gardening. Anong programa ngayon ng Kagro to push for and may mga projects na ba tayo na ongoing?
Magandang umaga uli. Hindi lang doon sa containerized program, no. Sabihin ko na yung kung ano yung plano ng City Agri as far as food sustainability is concerned. Sometime in August last year, kinausap ko ni Mayor para mag-assume as OIC ng City Agriculturist. Dalawang words lang yung sinabi niya at hindi na ako nagtanong kung anong details. Ang sabi lang niya, Doc, ang gusto ko lang, food sustainability. Hindi na ako nagtanong kasi para magkaroon ako ng wider perspective on what to do in city agriculture as far as food sustainability is concerned. So ano yung namin ngayon? Very strong yung promotion namin sa urban gardening. Kung hindi niyo alam, ang City Agriculturist Office, merong 7 na district offices sa buong city. No, merong Kalinan, Tugbog, Talbubon, Marilog, Paquibato, 7 yan. Lahat yan sila may their directives na to promote urban gardening. Kasama na dyan sa schools. In fact, hindi lang kami nagsasabi sa school, but our staff, even our mom, our MAU is actively engaged in helping the school putting up their gulayan sa eskwelahan. At isa pa, tumutulong din kami sa barangay para sa gulayan ng barangay. Para sa akin din, balik ko dun sa food sustainability, hindi lang yon sinasabi. Ang definition ko pala doon, sabi ko, pag sa food sustainability, simply available food in every table, in every household. Iyon talaga yung nasa mindset ko. It's not only about the four pillars of sustainability, yung availability, accessibility, affordability, and saka stability. Kasama din talaga doon yung responsibility. Responsibility to produce safe food, sa food safety, and environmental sustainability. Kasi itong issue ng nutrition ngayon, hindi lang ito just for now, hanggang may tao ang mundo. Pero if we do not consider in the equation the health of our environment, time will come when our generation will have difficulty producing food. At isa din ngayon na kung alam niyo rin na ang population ngayon growing, di ba? Growing ang population ngayon. Pero yung ating mga areas planted to food ay decreasing. So isang issue din yon na dumadami ang tao, lumiliit yung ating lupa na tinatamnan ng mga pagkain. So anong ginagawa ng City Agri? Nagpo-provide kami ng mga seedlings. Nagpo-provide kami ng mga technical assistance through the different agriculture technicians we have in our seven districts. We also provide training, and then meron din kaming kung hindi niyo alam, meron kaming showcasing ng urban gardening. Pwede ko kayo invite sa aming Marfori Community Garden. So sa Marfori Community Garden nandun yung organic at saka yung GAP, general yung good agricultural practices, low chem. Pwede kayo doon for therapeutic purpose, gusto niyo magpaturo doon, gusto niyo humingi ng seeds, at gusto niyo na ang isang garden pala ay pwede palang maganda sa mata. So i-invite ko kayong pumunta doon. We are also strengthening our partnership with different agencies, with different groups like yung sa Nutrition Council, sa CHO, sa Department of Agriculture, mga NGOs, with the purpose of strengthening our food production, especially production of organic food. Ayan. Ngayon, meron kaming pinopromote, advocacy, na actually ini-start namin ngayong Nutrition Month celebration. Ina-advocate namin ngayon yung root crops as alternative to rice. Alam niyo kung bakit? Sa tingin ko, darating ang time na rice will no longer be affordable for mga tao. Kasi ang supply lumiliit, dumadami ang consumer, so darating talaga yon. At pangalawa, maraming mga may sakit ngayon na ang dahilan ay yung sobrang kain ng rice. Di ba? Marami ding mga kabataan na doon sa school na pinupuntahan ko, pumapasok ng gutom kasi ang sabi, wala daw bigas. Sabi ko, kung walang bigas, bakit nasaan yung root crops? Asan yung saging, kamote, karlang, kasaba? And it's very unfortunate na may kinausap ako ng isang nanay. Sabi ko sa kanya, ang income ng family niya ay maliit, pero nauubos lang sa bigas. Sabi ko, bakit bigas? Bakit hindi root crops? Ang una niyang sinabi sa akin, sumol. Sumol. Tapos, pangalawang sinabi niya sa akin, Sir, kung yung pag may nakakakilala sa amin ng kinakain sa bahay ay kamote, karlang, kasaba, mababa yung tingin sa amin. Samantalang sa city, ang mindset ng karamihan ng may pera ay paano magkaroon ng kabawasan ng rice at gusto ng alternative na food. So, i-highlight yung bukas, yung advocacy na yon. Meron tayong speaker about root crops as alternative to rice. Tapos meron din tayong demo. May demonstration din pala bukas yung about how to make kimchi, pickle, radish pickle, and tomato paste. No? Marami tayong, kung interesado kayo, pwede kayo pumunta bukas. Ano pa ba? Okay, so yun ay marami kaming ginagawa. Marami kaming ginagawa sa City Agriculture Office para palawakin natin ang pamamaraan sa pag-produce ng tamang pagkain, sa dami ng pagkain para sa lumalaki nating population sa Davao City.
Okay, before I turn over the mic to Kat, no, I would like to ask Dr. Serrano because sabi mo 1 is out of 8 Filipino siguro kasama ganyan na rin yung ratio dito sa Davao, and many of these people are underprivileged and very expensive, lalo itong cancer treatment, lalo na sa prostate. Anong serbisyo ng SPMC para sa ating mga underprivileged na or mga indigents na nangangailangan ng tulong sa kanilang prostate cancer treatment?
Yes, sir. Hello. Thank you, sir, for that question. First, i-acknowledge ko lang yung presence ng one of our consultants from SPMC, si Dr. Manuel Belisario, sir. Thank you for gracing us today. So, regarding sa services na gina-offer ng SPMC, first, we should check first. So ano yung mga dapat tandaan or i-check paano ma-discover or paano ma-detect ang prostate cancer. Number 1, digital rectal examination. So usually do rectal examination. So sa mga urologist, kung mapapansin niyo or kung ma-check niyo yung mga yung makikita, we usually do rectal examination. So rectal examination is very important tool to examine or to detect prostate cancer. So number 1, if ma-detect or makapa namin sa prostate, usually kung may nodularities, mga bukol-bukol or matigas yung prostate pagkakapa namin, we usually recommend prostate biopsy. So number 2, other options to detect prostate cancer is PSA determination. So ano yung PSA? So PSA is prostate specific antigen. Ito ay pinoproduce or ng prostate para makatulong sa semen, para mag-liquefy during the ejaculation. I-liquefy niya yung sperm para makapenetrate doon sa or makaspread doon sa organ ng babae for fertilization. However, PSA would rise up in cases of there are 3 events, no, usual disease entities na tataas yung PSA. Number 1 is prostate cancer. So usually detect or check the PSA level. Usually PSA would the normal level is 0 to 4. So pag tataas yan plus an abnormal DRE findings or rectal examination, usually recommend prostate biopsy. Number 2, tataas ang PSA pag malaki na din ang prostate. So para siyang kung lalaki yung prostate mo, siyempre tataas din ang production ng PSA. But to a certain level lang. So number 3, if may infection, no? Infection or tinatawag natin prostatitis, infection or inflammation of the prostate would cause rise in PSA. So based doon, i-correlate namin yun sa DRE findings, then we usually discover or detect prostate cancer by biopsy. So paano ma-detect? So as early as 45 years old, we recommend screening. So such methods. So yun nga, sabi ni sir, mamahal ang gastos ng prostate cancer treatment if nasa later stage na. So once ma-discover natin na may prostate cancer ang isang patient, usually do metastatic workup. So ang prostate cancer kasi lalo na pag early stage pa lang, wala talaga yung sintomas, sir. So walang nararamdaman ang mga pasyente. But if lalaki na yung prostate, yun, as I've said earlier, magkakaroon na siya ng urinary symptoms. Tinatawag nating lower urinary tract symptoms. Pangalawa, if ang prostate cancer is kumalat na, usually prostate cancer spreads first in the bones. So una siyang kakalat sa mga buto ng mga kalalakihan. Usually they would present back pain, shoulder pain, or mga joint pain. So isa yan sa mga palatandaan natin pag may ganun ang nararamdaman ng mga pasyente natin, most likely metastatic na. Stage 4 na yung cancer nila. So sa SPMC, we usually have our prostate clinic every Tuesday, but we usually have our clinics Monday to Friday. So we specialize or may bigay lang kaming specific day for prostate during Tuesday. So we offer a prostate biopsy, DRE, PSA screening. Also, we offer different surgical procedures for prostate. We have the cystoscopy, transurethral resection of the prostate or TURP. Yun siya ay isang procedure na kakayurin yung prostate para lumuwag na walang sugat sa labas, no? Nakakatheter lang after. We also have laser prostatectomy. Available po ang laser machines natin sa SPMC. And currently, with the advent of robotic surgery, may based sa kuha natin ngayon, may robotics na tayo sa SPMC. Although hindi pa nagagawa yung robotic prostatectomy, pero nasa stage na tayo ngayon na nag-training na yung mga surgeons natin to do robotic radical prostatectomy sa SPMC. Available na yung robot natin sa SPMC.
So this is parang affordable siya sa mga indigents natin na sa out of the 108, ilan po yung mga indigents o underprivileged na
usually sir, sa SPMC in service cases, we usually do not have libre naman po lahat sa SPMC. Basta may PhilHealth, and most of our patients na may prostate problem are senior citizens, so priority po sila.
So pa lingap and magamit yung lingap and malasakit.
Yes sir. So also, hindi lang kasi surgery ang treatment ng prostate cancer. So we also have our radiation, we also have chemotherapy. So depende po kasi sa stage ng prostate cancer and sa status ng pasyente, kung ano ang angkop na treatment or kung ano ang management na pwede natin ibigay sa kanya. As long as early ma-detect, mas madami tayong options at mas hindi gagastos ng malaki yung patients. So specifically sa PhilHealth, meron tayong tinatawag na Z package for prostate cancer. They usually have allocated 100,000 sa mga patients natin for surgery, radical prostatectomy, na mag-enroll sa Z package sa PhilHealth.
Okay, thank you. Kat?
Hello po. Kay Ma'am Rosabeth muna. Ma'am, sa trends ng prevalence on malnutrition, dito sa inyo pong data, it says na may fluctuating trends yung number. However, ma'am, if you compare 2023 and 2024, there's a slight increase, oo. May I know, ma'am, kung asa na to ma-attribute ang increase, anong factors nito, and where are these areas po?
And thank you for that question. Actually, ma'am, that's valid observation. As mentioned earlier, meron tayong slight increase in a specific indicators like stunting and also overnutrition. As you can see, ma'am, I'd like to refer you to the OPT coverage by province. Ang Operation Timbang kasi natin, it's a form of mass weighing or mass assessment covering all the population group. And per guidelines, at least ma-meet yung 80% na projected population na makover ng mga bata na ma-assess. Unfortunately, for Region 11, hindi natin na-meet yung 80% because of the following reasons na may mga identified provinces tayo na hindi din nakaabot yung kanilang OPD coverage. And isa din yun sa mga tinitingnan namin na aspect na nagkaroon ng increased prevalence rate because of the statistically hindi na-meet yung minimum projected POP. Other than that, of course, no, meron din tayong mga identified na mga GIDA areas wherein they experience yung mga challenges pag nagkakaroon ng disaster na di-disrupt ang mga services. And aside from that, may mga areas din tayo na hindi nare-reach ng mga services because of course, yung geographic location. As you can see, we also presented in this flyer yung mga LGUs in the region na matataas ang prevalence of malnutrition, particularly on stunting. And most of them are the LGUs in the region na nasa classified na GIDA areas. So at this time, we are focusing our efforts in strengthening our advocacy campaign and also in providing technical assistance and support para matulungan natin itong mga LGUs na ito para mabigyan sila ng guidance how they could be able to address their malnutrition situation. And good thing because meron tayong Philippine Multi-Sectoral Nutrition Project na ongoing, ini-implement this time that will end by 2026. It's a World Bank funded na project na implemented ng Department of Health with DSWD and of course supported by the National Nutrition Council, wherein yung focus ng intervention doon sa mga LGUs ng Davao Occidental. So majority of the LGUs in Davao Occidental are targeted in the PMNP areas. Now yung extent ng support na binibigay ng Department of Health and NNC as well as DSWD are not only limited to capacity building but also augmented din siya ng mga services and commodities like vitamins, minerals, and extensive yung training for them to strengthen their nutrition program implementation by strengthening yung kanilang local nutrition structure. We look forward that sa 2025 na data, once na available, ay of course, i-disseminate din namin yung results sa 2025. We look forward na meron ng improvement no sa nutrition situation na mag-reduce yung ating prevalence rate from 24 na prevalence rate. And aside from that, isa din na factor is yung how the data were collected. Kasi meron pa rin mga reports kami na na-generate na may mga other areas na wala silang adequate resources to for assessment tool no to measure the child. Meaning to say, may mga areas pa rin na limited yung resources para magamit nila yung adequate na measurement tools, yung ating recommended tool na weighing scale and also height board. And also, may mga identified din tayo ng mga frontline workers na hindi pa capacitated. That's why yun po yung mga tinitingnan natin ngayon, not only limited to ensuring na may adequate interventions, but also we will look into capacitating our nutrition workers and extensively conduct advocacy campaign for support to nutrition by investing for nutrition. Okay, especially this time na bago yung ating mga local chief executive in some areas. Kaya yun po yung nilalabi natin with DILG na i-integrate ang nutrition campaign doon sa ating effort for transformative action at the grassroots level. And aside from that, yung good news is that for this year, we conduct a rollout training on data quality check. Kasi nga, para matingnan yung quality ng ating data, yung substance ng ating data. So, may mga rollout trainings tayo ngayon na ongoing in collaboration with the Department of Health to ensure na yung mga data generated at the grassroots level are, of course, no, yung quality na data na masabi talaga natin na yun talaga ang ating status. So marami pa tayong mga aspects na pwedeng tingnan, not only limited doon sa presence ng malnutrition in the community, but all other aspect that cut across immediate, underlying, and basic causes on malnutrition.
Apo, ma'am, follow up lang on that. Kasi on the OPT coverage by province, parang the data presented, yung Davao Oriental lang yung beyond the 80% coverage, no? And even in Davao City, we lack, we are short sa coverage. If the factors mentioned ay yun yung dahilan bakit lower tayo, saan nagkaroon ng gap, ma'am, for the implementation? Because I remember 2023 and 2024, the efforts of the NNC were almost the same, no? Focusing on JEDA areas, but in the OPT coverage, even Davao City, medyo kulang ang kanyang coverage.
Yes, ma'am. Course, ma'am, tama po yun. Kasi, like, for example, why is it that for Davao Oriental, na-meet naman nila yung kanilang minimum target? So, again, balik ulit tayo dun sa mga basic factors, no? Kasi, ito din yung isa sa mga aspect na gusto din namin i-generate from Davao Oriental. Ano yung mga strategies na ginawa nila? Kasi, once na ang bata, hindi na-miss yung pagtimbang at hindi binalikan, then pwedeng doon magkaroon ng gap. So I didn't mean to say na walang effort na ginawa, pero isa din kasi na effort na based on the feedback from the LGUs is dahil sa extensive campaign on family planning, ay isa din yun sa mga tinitingnan nila ng factor. While we are referring to the projected population, which is more than the reported actual number of preschool children, meron pa rin meron din mga pinifeedback ang mga LGUs natin dahil dun sa extensive effort on family planning. But then, we have no evidence that will show na ito yung mga naging factor. Kaya, yung data quality check will really extract kung ano talaga yung mga significant na factors na pwedeng naging cause or nagiging basis for coming up with this result. So, sa 2025, we will be implementing the data quality check. So, with that, we can be able to extract yung evidence-based na information kung ano at saan talaga nagkaroon ng gap. Why is it na yung ating prevalence rate in most LGUs in the region ay bumaba. But again, in the case of Davao City, perhaps we could also ask our City Nutrition Program Coordinator kung ano din yung mga naging factor, kasi even Davao City, very high dense ang population, but then isa na lang sana na point para may 80% ay hindi pa rin naabot. So mas ano po kung mas appropriate if we will also ask our representative from Davao City to shed us light kung ano din yung sa status at their level when it comes to this data generation through
I was going to ask, ma'am, and as well, of course, Ma'am Elizabeth, aside from ano yung reason, yung pagiging behind ng Davao City ng 1 point, kasi kung merong increase ng malnutrition sa Davao City, ano yung nakita nating reasons? Aside sa, of course, because it's highly urbanized, the source of food medyo talagang isa sa mga problema.
Okay, ma'am. Our target first and foremost, highly dense. Our target is 1,861,266, which is too big, okay, compared to our actual profile of children. We garnered 142. Our target is 185,799 children, and we weighed 142,863. So, suyod-suyod na yan namin, no? If we base it on our, number one, sabi mo, highly dense tayo dito. If we base it on our actual profile, muabot kita sa more than 80%, even 90%, 100%. But yung target na set by us, by DOH and PSA, too high. Okay, but we're trying our best also na to look into other factors, no? Let's say, ang malnutrition manggod, it's not only the stunting, the wasting, the underweight, we also have the obesity. No, another one is the food choices. I'm not referring to you na. Mauna siya nga. We are always validating our assessments. No, our BNS are going to purok-purok with our purok kalusugan at the same time. For Davao City, we are given only from January to 31. Kadako sa Davao City, but we buti na lang nakaabot tayo ng ganyan kataas, no, 79. At the same time, if we are given the chance, no, may extend gamay, surely we can hit it, no, because of the very large to tayo ang atong area, citywide na. And compared to other municipio, isa kapila tapikoon, no, sa other population. We are really, January pa lang first, January 2nd, pas na kaya itong mga BNS, gasuyod and nga validate. So muna, we are promoting those 4 pillars, which is very important, itong healthier diets, no, better choices, better practices, kailangan na ito siya isulong. And then our improved access. At the same time, our enabling mechanisms, encouraging all the barangays, no, to activate our barangay nutrition committee so they can make tutok on our barangays sa problema. Because there are barangays na wala sila stunting, wala sila wasting, but they have the obesity. There are some also that have stunting pero napababa nila. And for other barangays also, meron yung tatlo kasi meron tayong mga GITA areas. Isa pa, we also would like to encourage each and everyone kay yung sa Barangay Nutrition Council nila, no, all NGOs, GOs should join, no, and share their responsibilities. Isa din yung farm to market roads, ma'am. Para po ang ato ang mga foods dito, ang mga agricultural products na to ma-reach out po sa ato ang mga communities. Isa na siya. And sige ma'am. Sige.
Ma'am, pwede ni mo map out, ma'am, kung asa ang mga areas na focus nato with high number of malnutrition and other
Okay. Our high, unahon ako ng stunting and severely stunting. We have from Gumitan, that's in Marilog District. Sa Lapawan, that is from Pakibatu. Magsaysay from Marilog District. We have Tapak. Jida areas ni tanan, ma'am. We have Salaysay. Salaysay is part of Marilog. Pandaitan is part of Pakibatu District. Malamba is part of Marilog, and Paradise Imbak is on Pakibatu. Buda, the boundary of our Bukidnon, and the Barangay Dalag, no, from Marilog District. And for our moderate and severely wasting, we have Dato Salumay, which is a part of Marilog District, and we also have a rising, we have Barangay 3A, number 3 is Salaysay from Marilog District. We have Tapak from Barangay District of Pakibatu. We have Barangay 8A from Poblacion. We have Gumitan, and we have Barangay 6A for the Poblacion area, and Manuel Janga of Tubok District, and Governor Vicente Duterte, and New Carmen. And for our underweight and severely underweight, we have Salapawan of Marilog District, we have Tapak of Pakibatu District, we have Gumitan of Marilog District, we have Salaysay, Marilog District, we have Lumiat from Pakibatu District, we have Mabuhay, Pakibatu District, we have Dato Salumay from Marilog District, we have Dominga. Dominga is part of Palinan District, Talandang is part of Tubok District, and Pandaitan. And so, we are encouraging and each and every one No, pag naaganing BNS, magsuyod-suyod, open your doors, patimbang mo dira kay aron ato mga children, no, especially so that we can assess, no, ayaw ipauna kay inyong iro. Ipauna po. And then at the same time, encouraging each and everyone also tomorrow at our lunching, we are going to have assessments, no? Assessment, nutrition assessment, magtimbang, mag-height, at the same time, na atay nutrition counseling, na atay laboratory for our random fasting blood sugar, and at the same time, natay medcon kung necessary. And we also have a vegetable production na mga processing and kanunay every week, no, naagad pa every day na atay nutrition officers at our respective rural health units. Pwede kayo mo muduol dito. And we have barangay nutrition scholars. Pwede rin kaayo mo mangayog ka ng advice, no? And we also would like you to encourage, no, to use our Pinggang Pinoy Guide. So good na importante karon kay atong sub-team is food and nutrition security. No, isa is kung naatay mga produkto nga naara diri sa downtown dili pud sapat na pagpili, mao pud na isa, no, nga makakos og malnutrition. Yan mga processed foods, no, mga junk foods. We would like our parents, our family members, no, kung pwede stop na nato na siya. Okay. So mo na healthier diets and better choices of food at the same time, let's change our behavior on choosing our foods. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, last na lang ma'am, sa schools na to, ma'am, saan ato ang nutritional approach sa mga schools para mas murag, mas effective siya nga campaign?
Actually, part of our City Nutrition Committee is our DepEd, and we are closely working with DepEd, no? And they are doing our advocacy, not sa nutrition, also for healthier diet. At the same time, the schools are encouraged to have that hapat, yung magtanim ng gulay at saka at their school community, school garden, no? And then kung as possible, kung naa sila mga ilahang mga tanong dito, pwede ka na nilulutuon and share. Like example, we would like to thank also CSSDO, our daycare teachers, kasi meron silang school garden. Gabay lang siya sa likod sa ilang mga eskwelahan, but pag nagtatanong sila, ilang community ba nga feeding. So ang mga bata nato dito sa daycare, preschoolers, no, nagacook sila during panuudto or merienda. So mao to ilang ginagamit. So mao na nga encouraging all the schools, be it private and be it public, no, nga ipadayon nato to ato ang school garden. And to the most katong home, no, household, maski sa isa ka household tag-upat ka klase hinahinay, no, containerized pwede ra sa atong urban. Dirita sa urban medyo natin slight increase of our overweights, no. And sa ato ang rural, kay climate change is there, mo na maminaw ta sa atong city agriculture kung unsaon. They are the ones experts, no, na to paan kanang paggama on vegetable production. And tomorrow, it's makalamlay ta dito sa ato ang food security and better choices, and we hope that each and everyone will continue to have a partnership. Our doors are open sa City Nutrition Office at the 4th floor. Pangita ako ninyo. Taon akong gigunitan karon, no, from buntisan to elders na, no. Let's have ramong pani, ma'am. Pinggang Pinoy, we have a guide for our children, for our buntis. Ito, meron tayo for children, ages, no, different ages. We have for our teens, and we have for our pregnant at lactating mothers, and we have for adults sa tuatanan, and for our seniors, no, our senior citizens, no. So meron tayong food guide tomorrow na ibigay natin, and as well as ato ang community. Tangkilikin na to ato ang mga Pinggang Pinoy at saka local farmers, no. So that's all, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
Ay, hello ma'am. Namunta niya akong makatapag ko record. Kay Ma'am Beth Banso, nabaguhan ko sa imuha, Ma'am. na nakasakuan dili na nakasa nutrition karon from tropical disease to pero ako lang pangutana kay Ma'am Retsbeth o kay Ma'am Beth, kumusta nga ato ang ato ang implementation sa tong gulayan sa paaralan ug sa barangay, especially mga panang start na ang nutrition month?
Ginainggan yun nato ato ang mga schools no nga magpadayon to nila ilang gulayan. Di ba bag-ura man nabalik ang eskwela karon? No, I hope na makultivate nila dito kay ilang man po itong magamit tong product dito no sa ato ang mga gulay. Mo na naglinkage just with the City Agri, close partnership with the City Agri through Dr. Obshoma. Kasi tomorrow, pati kayo, if you want some seedlings and seeds na ata dito, they will be giving that. And sa ato ang mga barangays, naapot tayo mga gina-invite na mga city agriculture technicians, no? So tomorrow we'll be giving seedlings and seeds also.
Asa ni Ma'am ganito?
Kita ta sa People's Park. Naay motorcade, 7 o'clock assemble na ta dito sa car parking area sa Coastal Road. Katungat bang ganinay kanang dulaanan, playground o sa Bag-o. Dito ta, and then mutuyok ta all along the Kimpo Boulevard, Leon Garcia, SPMC, Quirino, and mag-end ta sa People's Park.
Kunapa ba itong ginatawag nato itong search for best gulayan sa barangay and sa paaralan?
Through City Agri, sa gulayan ng barangay, meron po sila.
Ongoing pa ba itong program?
Yung gulayan sa barangay naman, nasa program talaga namin. Meron kami mga technicians talaga na nagpa-participate, nag-i-engage sila sa gulayan ng barangay. Kasi isa yun sa importante na tinututukan namin. Katulad din na yun sa school, hindi lang yung, ang purpose namin, hindi lang yung para may makain ng mga bata sa school. Ngayon talaga, kailangan nating educate yung mga bata paano magtanim. Kasi karamihan ng kabataan ngayon umaalis na sa kabukiran, pumupunta na sa syudad. So kailangan nating i-retain talaga sila sa Tapos isa pa pala, yung gulayan sa barangay, hindi lang para matuto yung mga tao doon, kundi para merong showcasing ba na ganito pala maggulay ng urban gardening. So hopefully, yung mga household, gagaya sila, kami naman ready para magbigay ng mga seedlings at saka technical assistance.
Since sir, itong gulayan sa barangay and sa paaralan, part to ng high value crops development program, high value crops, National Urban and Peri-Urban Program ng Department of Agriculture. Kumusta po yung parang coordination ninyo with DA NUPAC po?
Kami naman talaga, ngayong starting this year, ina-align talaga namin yung program sa amin with DA. Kung anong meron sila, kailangang makaka-take advantage ang city. Yung mga programs na unique sa Davao City, tinututukan naman natin doon para talaga sama-sama, maging malakas yung pwersa pag-address sa problema ng nutrition o food sustainability. Right now, we have a very strong collaboration with Department of Agriculture and even other groups pagdating dito.
Sir, so ilan na ngayon yung mga natin ngayon, sir? Tawag natin community garden.
Ang community garden na sinasabi ko kanina, meron tayong City Agri mismo na community garden nasa Marfori. Parang sino-showcase doon paano ba magtanim. Ano bang dapat hitsura ng urban gardening. Pwede pala yung ganito, pwede pala yung ganyan. Pwede pala walang fertilizer na synthetic o commercial. Wala palang pesticide. So, yung isa lang yung natin dito, yung ating community garden. Pero meron din tayong ginagawa na pagtatanim ng gulay sa Malagos Garden, sa SRD. Nagtatanim din ng meron din doong hydroponics, merong mga gulayan, radish at saka petsay at saka iba pa. Tapos sa Eden naman, meron din tayong doon, parang gulayan ngayon Hindi naman ganong maraming klase, halos radish din lang at saka petsay tanim ang meron doon. No? So yun yung at least sa City Agriculture Office meron pala tayong 3 na parang areas na tinatamnan natin ng gulay.
Nasa lang sir, ano po yung efforts natin no para mas dumami itong mga community gardens, especially sa mga barangays, no? Na para mas ma-entice sila na magtanim ng gulay or ano man yung dapat nilang itanim.
Simula nung umupo ako sa City Agri, we are now closely coordinating with the Barangay Council at saka yung City Agriculture Committee. Sabi ko sa kanila, Kap, mag-partner tayo. Kayo ang nakakaalam kung anong kailangan nyo. Kayo ang nakakaalam kung sinong nandyan. So magtulungan tayo, gumawa kayo ng Barangay Agriculture Development Plan ninyo. Isa na dyan yung gulayan sa barangay. So, hindi naman ma-address agad yan sa isang upuan, pero yan yung direction talaga na palakasin yung partnership ng Barangay Council at saka involvement ng Barangay Committee on Agriculture para palawakin itong hindi lang sa gulayan ng barangay, kundi yung kabuuan ng agrikultura sa mga barangay.
Ayan, magandang tanghali po. Ito lang po yung last concern ko po for Ma'am Resbeth Lakihod po of National Nutrition Council. So ma'am, alam po namin that nutrition is not only hindi lang inyong mandato ma'am, but it's a whole government approach. So kailangan natin ng mga tulong ng LGU ma'am. So like yung ginagawa po ng mga ibang regional nutrition council ma'am, dito din po ba sa Davao Region ma'am, ano po yung kumbaga panawagan natin sa mga LGU para tulungan po kayo sa inyong mission ma'am? At meron po ba tayong gagawing para ma-encourage sila ng mga awarding po sa ating mga LGU like yung ginagawa po ng iba po?
Okay, thank you for that question, sir. Kasi earlier, maraming mga concerns, anong factors, bakit may malnutrition, ano yung mga strategies na pwedeng gawin. Actually, before I'll answer your question, dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Ma'am Beth kanina, possible factors ng malnutrition. Kung tingnan natin dito sa data, if you have this document sa inyong kit, nandito kasi yung Nutrition Month campaign strategy natin, and nandito din yung mga may mga makukuha din tayo dito ng mga statistics and also database no on malnutrition. Not only that, but particularly on food insecurity. So we are not spared, as I've said, we are not spared with the problem of food insecurity kasi after pandemic talagang reportedly mataas na ang incidence ng hunger in the country, and hindi tayo na spared on that. Kaya possible talaga na mayroon talagang increase na percent prevalence ng malnutrition. That's why we strengthened our campaign on food security and nutrition security. Kaya po naging team siya natin this year para tutukan yung ating concern sa food insecurity, para ma-address po natin siya at ma-promote natin ang nutrition security. And going back to your question, sir, we strongly collaborate all the sectors, not only at the government level, but engaging also the non-government organization. We have this Scaling Up Nutrition movement. The Philippines adopted the Scaling Up Nutrition movement. It's a global movement for action on nutrition. In Davao Region, we also adopted that. Kaya meron tayong mga stakeholders na engaged sa nutrition from the academe, from the youth sector, na mobilize po natin sila for nutrition. And also yung ating mga development organization, mga CSAs, yung ating mga non-government organization, government agencies, as well as yung ating mga education sector. Kasi kailangan din natin yung research component to ensure na ma-strengthen natin yung ating nutrition program implementation. And aside from that, we have existing structure from the national up to the grassroots level. Sa national level, ito po yung ating National Nutrition Council Governing Board na kung saan chair po dito ang ating Cabinet Secretary ng Department of Health, co-chaired by the Cabinet Secretary of Department of Agriculture and also DILG. At the regional level, organize and strengthen din po yung structure natin sa region. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na Regional Nutrition Committee na ang chairperson po natin ang ating director from the DOH, sa Director Eleni Tagamolo, co-chaired by the directors of Department of Agriculture and also DILG, si Director Matalam. And yung members po ng ating Nutrition Committee ay multi-sectoral, interagencies po. And recently, as of November rather, na-formulate po ng region ang Regional Plan of Action for Nutrition. It's a 5-year strategic plan na aligned po sa ating Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition to localize yung ating strategies for action for nutrition in the region. So, in that framework or in that particular plan, reflected and integrated po yung mga nutrition efforts ng different agencies na member ng ating nutrition committees. And na ano din po natin yan, na-elevate din po natin sa Regional Social Development Council na kung saan nag-issue din po ng support ang ating SDC for the institutionalization of our Regional Plan of Action for Nutrition. And given that, meron din tayong tinatawag na Provincial, City, Municipal Nutrition Committee up to the barangay level na multi-sectoral din ang structure na automatically ang chairperson ng ating local chief executive. So, these structures are regularly capacitated and also provided with technical assistance para po maging effective and efficient ang management ng respective nutrition programs. Although medyo marami pa tayong need gawin kasi bago yung election, maglalabi ulit tayo sa local chief executive for support for nutrition, but then at least meron na tayong platform na pwedeng i-follow yung ating PPAN. That's why yung ating Nutrition Month team nakafocus sa ating PPAN. And our launching, which will commence tomorrow, the Regional Nutrition Month launching, hindi lang po region yung magla-launch ng nutrition, but you also mobilize the provincial, city, and municipal up to the barangay level to also support the campaign on nutrition. Of course, yung i-strengthen yung campaign natin sa Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition in line doon sa ating team. Ulitin ko po ulit, food at nutrition security, maging priority, sapat na pagkain, karapatan natin. Kasi if all the sectors will support and strengthen this campaign, through collective efforts, malaki po ang makontribute nun collectively sa impact and transformation ng ating food system. So, i-continue ko na lang po yung ating campaign strategies, naka-acronym siya as SAPAT, Strengthen Food Policies. Kasi while we have these strategies, programs, projects on food security, but kung hindi natin siya na-institutionalize through policy, through ordinance and resolution, hindi natin na-localize, ay wala pong sustainability. That's why we lobbied with the LGUs, we will lobby with the LGUs for the localization of nutrition policies to establish yung ating sustainable food system. Second, letter A, amplify public awareness. Now, we have very good programs and interventions, pero kung hindi naman po siya widely disseminated, hindi po na-capacitate yung ating mga community as well as individuals and households, then it's nothing. So hindi lang po sa level ng community and implementers, but also yung ating mga potential na partners, yung ating mga donors and development organization na pwede nating itap to augment the local resources. So yung information drive is vital kasi hindi naman po sustainable yung ating mga interventions. May limitation din yung ating mga resources and commodities. But by educating and empowering rather, capacitating, educating all the individuals on healthy food choices, on food production by mobilizing the households to establish food gardens, somehow namimit na po yung food security and nutrition security at their level, na hindi na siya nagiging concern sa buong community, sa buong probinsya, sa buong barangay, and sa buong region. Letter P, promote sustainable food systems. So, this time po, hindi na stable yung ating climate weather condition. Nagkakaroon na tayo ng climate change. Kaya po, through this campaign sa Nutrition Month, we're also promoting yung campaign sa food system and also yung resiliency sa food system and sustainability. And with that, I know na yung ating mga experts in agriculture can do something and can do a lot. We also lobbied na yung food security plan ng region or local level will also be mainstreamed and aligned sa ating regional nutrition plan. Kasi at the end of the day, isa lang din po yung ating target beneficiaries. Ito yung ating mga individuals, families, and mga vulnerable na sector. Then letter A, activate partnership without conflict of interest. Kasi po hindi lang na-address ng agriculture sector ang food security. Kailangan din po ito ng intervention ng other stakeholders like DTI for the regulation of food prices, yung ating DOLE for the promotion ng employment opportunities, yung ating DSWD kasi sila din po yung mga food hubs natin sa mga food packs na programs and mga existing natin na mga feeding programs na implemented ng DepEd, ng DSWD, and of course, kasama na din dito yung ating local government units. Then transform food system. Paano po? By strengthening yung ating linkages between the from farm to food plate. So i-link natin yung ating food producers sa ating mga families and households na nalilimit at nare-regulate po yung mga middleman na nagiging factor po dun sa high food prices. And aside from that, is strengthen and support din po natin yung mga food hubs natin, yung ating mga kadiwa. And we believe and recognize the expertise of our agriculture sector to promote that campaign. Kaya po, the National Nutrition Council urge everyone, lahat po ng sector, including po yung partner natin sa media, to support yung ating endeavor for this campaign because at the end of the day, yung ninonourish po natin, ito yung ating mga future generation. Sila po yung papalit sa atin, sila po yung magiging future na leaders. So while at a young age, they are totally dependent sa kanilang mga caregivers, but if the caregivers have limited access and limited opportunities for nutritious food, nadideprive din po sila, particularly yung mga low-income families. So, very important na alamin po natin ano yung mga factors that affects malnutrition. Sino yung mga affected para po directed yung ating interventions, focus targeting, na yung ating mga integrated interventions mapupul natin, ma-integrate at maibigay natin doon sa mga priority na mga beneficiaries. So, we hope that this Nutrition Month campaign will not be for launching activity, but it's a month-long or a year-round campaign. So, for references and information materials, you can always stop our office. You can always invite us as a resource person. Yung office po namin, located po kami sa PTV Mindanao Media Hub. Kakalipat lang po namin. And doon po ninyo mabivisit ang National Nutrition Council. And we also have this Facebook page, ang National Nutrition Council Region 11. You can also follow our page para po ma-extract and ma-generate nyo yung ibang information related to health and nutrition. Ayan po. Thank you.
Okay, na-overtime tayo. Last question, kasi may nag-PM sa akin. Dr. Serrano, gaano ko treatable kung maaga ma-detect yung prostate cancer? Kasi mahirap na yung madaling mag-metastasize yung prostate, lalo po sa importante yung treatment.
Yes, sir. Thank you sa question na yan, sir. So, kung localized pa lang yung prostate cancer, ibig sabihin nandun pa lang sa prostate. So, mas maaga ma-treat, for example, by radiation or by surgery. Overall, mas controlled yung prostate cancer ng isang patient. Whereas kung kakalat na ito, particularly sa may mga kalat na sa buto, the cure of prostate cancer is malabo na. So, if ever the prostate cancer will be metastatic na, ang lang natin is he will really succumb to complications. So, particularly ang cause of death usually ng mga prostate cancer patients is not the prostate cancer itself, but the complications brought about by the symptoms like recurrent infection, kidney failure, and such. So, as early as localized pa lang, kung nasa prostate pa lang, matanggal yung prostate or may radiation, may 100% na cure naman, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. This ends our Kapihan sa Davao. We'd like to thank SMCT Davao and Krispy Kreme for the donation of Sprouts Coffee. Parting statement, briefly lang, again, ano yung mangyayari sa jail bukas? Sino Ma'am Elizabeth? Ma'am Elizabeth?
Okay, to each and everyone, we are inviting you na atay motorcade to start at the Coastal Road at Assembly Time 7 to 7:30. Jump off kagad tayo. We will end our motorcade with the People's Park. We are all invited. We have nutrition assessments, laboratory. At the same time, we have our tree planting, vegetable production, and our ceremonial tree planting dito sa ato ang People's Park, no? And nutrition symposium, advocacy. Don't forget, nutrition school on air. Meron na, lunch na tayo last Wednesday, every 10:30 to 12. Every Wednesday is good na siya, our 10 commandments and all, para wide ang ato ang coverage, no? For advocacy, and we are inviting each and everyone to join us tomorrow. Natay seed distribution, seedling distribution, tomorrow. Thank you.
Ma'am Elizabeth?
Okay, thank you very much again in support sa City Government of Davao, no? In collaboration with the City Government of Davao. Please support our Nutrition Month campaign. Okay, and also yung pong mga ano natin, yung mga info drive po natin, no? Please help us disseminate it, and also available po yung ating mga collateral materials, and aside from that, we're also given tokens sa ating mga partners from the media. Earlier may na-disseminate na po ng mga collateral materials, and of course, no, for the talking points, you can access that sa aming page sa National Nutrition Council for other reference materials that can help you out para po makatulong po doon sa ating dissemination. And once again, maraming salamat for supporting our nutrition efforts in the region, and you will always be our partner in this endeavor in ensuring a healthy and well-nourished Davaoenos. Thank you po.
Dr. Tony?
But I just would like to assure everybody that the City Office of Agriculture is doing our best to do our role in this issue on nutrition. And I'm hoping that we won't only be talking about these issues during celebration of Nutrition Month, but regularly, so that we can have we can establish or maybe together.
Yung garden yun ba sa Doña Vicenta, yung Marfori Botanical Garden, yun yung parang vegetable garden ninyo.
Ano yun? Yung sa Marfori vegetable, ang maganda doon kasi ang tinatanim namin doon, yung mga seedlings pwede nyo itanim. No, kasi ang mga seedlings ngayon, pagka hindi mo pwede itanim. Pero sa sa Marfori, pwede.
Ito yung malapit sa chapel, yung malapit sa
ng simbahan sa Marfori.
Covered court.
Ano lang yun, educational, therapeutic, learning site para sa mga interested sa vegetable.
Okay, Dr. Serrano.
Lastly, thank you for this opportunity po sa ating media partners to share the importance of prostate cancer awareness. So, invite ko po ang lahat ng mga kalalakihan, 45 pataas, to have your prostate check. So, ang SPMC Urology is open po for consultations Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. sa JICA building, and more focusing on Tuesday for prostate cases po, sa Tuesday.
And this is for free, no? Baka
Free ang
gamit, dapat may PhilHealth sila ba yun? Or
ideally, for patients, dapat talaga all patients are PhilHealth covered talaga.
Usually kung private hospitals, magkano tong prostate screening?
Sorry sir, I cannot speak for the private institutions.
Average, kung ma-average.
Usually, DRE and PSA would consultation mga 500 to 1,000. PSA screening is approximately 500 siguro sir. So, mga ganun na range siguro.
Okay, that ends our Healthy Davao Media Forum. We'd like to thank SMCT Davao and Krispy Kreme, and also Philippine Information Agency, and of course, Kadangpan for their live stream. Thank you so much. Till next week, more relevant topics will be discussed.